Chris with Blind TV. How's everybody doing today? I hope well. I hope you guys are living the dream and living life and just doing what you guys can in these crazy times. Reason why I'm on here is I have something heavy heart, man. Something that's been just kind of been on my mind for a while, and I saw it about a year ago, and then I saw it again about a week and a half ago, and I just really I started doing some digging and some research, and I want to let everybody out there know what's going on. I know I'm a small channel, but my voice is loud, and it's loud just like everybody else. So let's go back to, I saw an article or someone on Facebook talking about the Oceano dunes or Pismo Beach. I am a dune rider, love the dunes, and I'll explain this more as I go along with the story. But then we got the California Coastal Commission and a few other organizations who are trying to shut it down. That's wrong. Terrible. We live in a country where we're free and we should be able to ride wherever is available for us to ride, not because someone says we can't go ride. And let me use this analogy right off the bat. If a golf course is in your backyard and you get mad because someone's hitting golf balls and they're hitting your windows on accident, and for whatever reason, you're not going to shut the golf course down. People aren't going to let you do that. But here we are, off-road community, off-roading area that's been an off-roading area since the start of off-roading is trying to be shut down. They're saying it's because of sand and dust. Well, guys, let me give you a little bit of science history. Sand, when it's sitting there and the wind picks up, blows, and yes, it blows it. When you're riding on sand, it packs it down. Less sand will be blown around by movement of stuff being rode on it than there is just someone taking a handful and blowing it with the wind with no packing it or anything like that. It's physics. You pack something down, it doesn't travel because it's compacted down. When, you know, those are lame excuses. But let's digress. Let's go back a little bit. I am visually challenged. I cannot drive my vehicle. Although I do own a truck, I cannot drive it. I have to walk everywhere I go. People with physical and mental challenges find ways to be free, find ways to feel free, or a lot of us do. My freedom is this machine right here. When I sit in that driver's seat, I am 100% free, normal. No one can tell me what I can and can't do with my life or anything like that. And they can't now, but I'm saying as far as when I'm in this cockpit and I'm driving, I feel just as normal as everybody else does. This is my freedom. And the California Coastal Commission office is trying to take that freedom from me. What I mean by that is that they're trying to close down the dunes. They're trying to say it's bad for the earth, the ozone, or people are breathing. What it is a bunch of people who have more money than common sense, who are mad because when they bought the house, they clearly knew they were by a beach, that sand was there, and they wanted to think that they're better than everybody, they're above everybody. They're not, they think they're not an equal, they're above everybody. So, having said that, they formed groups together to try to shut it down. And it's been a long battle. From what I've seen and what I've seen on YouTube, it's just been never ending. And here's another thing. They have meetings about this stuff, guys. Problem is they make the meetings to where nobody can show up because it's in the middle of a week. I mean, come on, California Coastal Commission. Why don't you give everybody a fair chance and actually have a real meeting when everybody gets there? But, okay. So they have their meetings in the middle of the week. That's fine. Let me give you guys some stuff, some really bold statements. They are racist and they are being discriminative. They discriminate on us. And I'm about to show you guys that reason right now. What's the definition of discrimination?
Discrimination means The unjust or prejudicial treatment of different categories of people or things, especially on the grounds of race, age, or sex.
The unjust of people or things, group of categories. The Coastal Commission, California Coastal Commission, and the people who have the houses there are discriminating on off-roader communities. They are racist against the off-roader communities. Look up the definition of racism. Falls in the line of discrimination. Yes, they are 100%. I thought we lived in a land of free, but more than importantly, we live in a society now where there's zero tolerance for racism and discrimination. And they are discriminating and being racist towards the off-roader communities because they don't like our passion, our freedom, our right. California Coastal Commission, why you gotta discriminate? It's clear that you are being discriminated. It's clear that you are racist against the off-road community. You can't say you're not. You are. Those are bold statements, but I'm gonna stand behind them because I've lived with it my whole life. People telling me, like them, society, saying you can't do this, you can't do that. Well, I'm here to tell you, you can't do it either. Secondly, California Coastal Commission and people leading with them. You have organizations like the Wounded Warrior Project, veterans, and just a million other people, a million bazillion other people who have mental and physical handicaps that cannot reason with life because of what's going on with them, like myself. Trap yourself in your house, sit there all week. The only way you can go is walk everywhere. You have no one to talk to. And when you get out there and you're in your ride, that's how you feel free. This is therapy for people. People who cannot escape the horrors that goes on their mind or what their physical challenges or limitations are, this is how they feel free. This is what they do. And yet you're taking it from them. You're taking it therapy. Because how are those people gonna drive 1,000 miles down the road to go ride somewhere where they can ride when they can clearly drive 10 to 15 minutes away? California's big. And those dunes are in the center to where everybody can get easy access to. 15 minutes away. That's all it is. For someone to actually feel free and not feel like they're going to do something harmful to themselves. Think about that, guys. I'm one of them. You have a guy out there who has no legs, or you have a guy out there who's born with a deficiency that they can't overcome. Or even better yet, you got a little kid that his only wish, because he's dying of some cancer or something horrific, that his one wish is to be out there and ride, because that's what makes him free. That's what makes him feel normal, just like all of us. Makes us feel normal, and yet you guys are taking it away. There's that discrimination. There's that racism. Guys, I like to rant and rave and stuff, but I wanted to bring those points up. I want you guys to share this out to everybody and understand what we're doing here, what I'm doing here is putting my voice out there, because I'm so sick and tired of this. I have lived my whole life with everybody telling me I can and can't do nothing, can and can't do this, can and can't do that. And I hate it when people like the California Coastal Commission office and the housing authorities there who think just because they have money, they are, well, I guess the better analogy is communist Russia. You know, they're living back in those days, those eras where, you know, what they say matters and what everybody else's opinions doesn't. We need to fight together. This is a protest for the off-roader communities to gather up and show them, because once they start this, what makes you think they're going to come to Michigan, to Oklahoma, to Ohio? They already tried it in Oregon, Tennessee. There's millions of other places. Once it starts, it's a chain reaction and it's a snowball effect. And when it'll go, it will go. And then we'll be fighting, because I promise you, it comes in my backyard, it's going to be a whole different ballgame. Right now, this is my voice. I'm speaking to you guys to let you know how important this means to me, how I've spent 95% of my life, off-roading life, in the dunes. And I've never felt so much more freer riding behind this machine or even my quads or dirt bike than anything. Remember, voices make a difference. Silence doesn't. I got a special guest that's about to come in and explain some stuff, and I hope you guys appreciate it. And again, guys, share this out 50 million times, 100 times. Remember, for 5 people that watch this, if they share it 5 times, that's 25 times that this thing's been viewed. And I know we can do this. It's our lives. Hope you guys enjoy it. I can't see.
Hey guys, Brandy here with Dandy Off-Road. Hey Chris, I want to say first of all, thank you again so much for reaching out to us and for wanting to put this video together. We really appreciate your support and your help here. I don't know if you guys are all aware, but the fight, the decades-long battle to keep the Oceano Dunes SVRA accessible for off-road riding has reached a tipping point. It was a year ago this week that we were down south out here in Cali at the California Coastal Commission meeting, fighting with a huge group of fellow off-roaders, standing up for what's rightfully ours, to be able to access the off-road recreational area, what it's been deemed as for all time, to keep it open. There's a group of people, I'll just give a brief summary of what's going on. The Nipomo Mesa, there's a group of residents. Yes, there's a lot of money floating around out there. And for years now, they've been trying to close down the dunes to disallow all of us off-roaders access to a state park, to the California state park, the Oceano Dunes SVRA. Which is a state vehicular recreation area. So there's a lot of money, like I said. The Nipomo Mesa residents, if it's not one thing, it's another. So I've said this before and I'll say it again. They keep just throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks. Last year, the big topic, and every other year, was the air quality and particulate matter making its way into the Nipomo Mesa and affecting the residents. It was a huge deal, apparently. Well, that wasn't really going to hold, couldn't stand up on its own. The coronavirus, COVID-19, kind of proved our point, which was that saltation is a naturally occurring process, and it really didn't have anything to do with dust being stirred up by off-roading. We don't ride in the W, you know that. And the wind is what was doing it. It's the beach, right? Don't live by the beach if you don't want to deal with the wind and the sand and the natural occurrences that happen in nature. And it was kind of proven that was the case, that it was a naturally occurring process, considering that nobody's been riding for months now because we haven't been able to because of COVID-19. And guess what? The air quality, it's been worse than ever. So instead of taking that back to the table at the year mark, we're now back to the snowy plover. None of us want to injure animals. None of us off-roaders want an endangered species to become extinct. We're not fighting. It's not either or. What we're saying is that there is a middle ground, common ground, where we can come together and reach an agreement, but there is no bend on the side of the Nipomo Mesa residents. They want it closed down. They don't like our kind in their town, is what's happening. There's a lot of detail. You can do a little bit of Google searching and see for yourself. Everything's public record, and just takes a little bit of time to kind of pull up some interesting information. I won't go into all of it. What I will say is that Chris here is putting a video together because he is American and because he loves freedom, and it's not just about riding. If you ride, if you have a favorite riding spot, imagine that we're being threatened. You'd want all of us to stand with you, and we would. Asking you to write letters, make phone calls, I'm going to provide Chris with a bunch of information that he can put down in his description, which will have links to phone numbers and email addresses. The governor of California, Gavin Newsom, he would love to hear from you about how you feel about a right of ours being taken away. I will be heartbroken. The thought of it not being accessible to us is devastating. I have people that I love live down there. Their livelihood depends on the dunes being accessible to off-roaders. There's a lot of money down there because of us. We're like the single biggest tourism attraction in the area, the San Luis Obispo area. That's all brought on by off-roaders. Hearst Castle is like second runner-up to us, and $243 million, I think, just from off-road spending. Then there's the tax revenue, there's the employment, the list goes on and on. I know that Friends of Oceano Dunes, They have been fighting this fight for a long time. Jim Sudi, president, you know, I'm going to, again, give Chris some information to link up below. They need help. Anything that you can do, your voice, your time, if you can donate, much appreciated. Friends of Oceano Dunes is going to be the organization that you'd want to donate to. They are, they have a team of attorneys, and they've been fighting non-stop to get this off the table. It's ridiculous, really. I can't even believe it's actually a fight, you know. If it's not one thing, it's another. It doesn't matter. It really, what the point of this is that they don't want there to be a fix. They don't want the air, you know, mitigation efforts that were put in place to work, or the habitat building of the snowy plover. They don't want any of that to work, because ultimately the only thing they want is for complete closure of the Oceano Dunes, SVRA. They want no access for any off-road riding in the area. It's a nuisance to them. They don't agree with it. They don't understand it. They don't approve of it. It's not their thing. And if it's not their thing, then it should be no one's thing. It's that type of attitude that we're dealing with. And they won't stop. And there's a lot of money. So, like I said, we're going to provide information if you want to help out. Thank you in advance for doing that. And Chris, again, thank you. Chris is all the way out in Oklahoma. You guys are watching his channel. You know about him. You see that he's a fighter. And he's fighting for this because he knows what's right. Our freedoms are being stripped away. You know, this sets precedent. And it's a domino effect. And it might not be your riding spot right now. It might not be, you know, whatever it is that you enjoy doing with your family, because that's what this is ultimately about. If you ride, you know what this is about. This is about family. That's why we do this. We are a family. We stand together. We are the silent majority in this case, I feel like. But the vocal minority with the money in their pockets, well, they're the ones that are out there spreading just exaggerations and bold-faced lies, actually. So, again, that's my little part on this. My husband and I, Darren Hoover, again, Dandy Off-Road, we really appreciate any help that you can give. Like I said, we have people out there that we love. We have friends and family, and this is just, it's unbelievable to me that we're even having this conversation still, that it hasn't already been put to a stop, that somebody didn't already stand up and say, wait a minute, guys, let's actually just sit down and logically think this out. Let's read the paperwork, the documentation. Let's review the facts. If they did that, then there would be no reason for the dunes to close. If the Nipomo Mesa residents were truly concerned about the items that they say they were concerned with, then they would be working with us, not against us, at every, you know, chance that they get. This isn't about that, and it's so obvious. And how that's not being just brought to light is astonishing to me. So thank you guys again, Chris. We love you. We think you're awesome. Blind TV on YouTube. Make sure that you subscribe to his channel. Watch this dude. He's going places. We're lucky to know him. We're lucky to call him a friend. And thank you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for any support that you can give. Again, check out the description for contact information. Write letters. Send emails. Stand up. Let's do this, guys. Let's fight. Peace.